Good afternoon. Welcome to the Neoliberal Round podcast. We have breaking news. Coming in, news is that Major General of the Russian Army, Vitaly Gerasimov, Russian military Major General, Chief of Staff, and First Deputy Commander of the 41st Army of the Central Military District of Russia, has been killed. Again, that's news coming in. Major General of the Russian Army, Vitaly Gerasimov, Russian military Major General, Chief of Staff, and First Deputy Commander of the 41st Army of the Central Military District of Russia, has been killed. And we're hearing, and not just this general, but other officers around him were also killed or eliminated. So that's breaking news that's coming in, and we understand that Putin is not happy about that. Further, we had published a news story, an episode yesterday, which we also posted on Reddit, and we asked on Reddit, we posted a picture of the general being eliminated, but we also on our last episode asked for people to ban Russia, and we have gotten a response. Someone sent me a link within a discussion group I'm having on Reddit, on my Reddit page, and it's I'm trying to find it here. It says it's a link of the companies that continue to do business with Russia or Putin, and these companies are McDonald's, Burger King, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Estee Lauder Companies, Herbalife Nutrition, Kimberly-Clark, Hilton Hotels, and Starbucks. And you can visit my social media feed or my blog for a link for updated list, and you can also contact these companies and pressure them to cut ties with Putin and Russia. So, and there's a link that's provided. Of course, if you want the link right now, I can give that to you. Let me see if I could find that. Banned Russia. You know what? I really can. It's ban-russia.com. ban-russia.com. But you can go straight to my blogspot, RenaldoCMcKenzie.blogspot.com, or any of my social media pages, Renaldo.McKenzie on Facebook, or Renaldo McKenzie on Twitter, or Renaldo C. McKenzie on LinkedIn. So that's news coming in. And just an update as of yesterday, I posted on Reddit that the world is united with Ukraine, yet Russia continued to advance their terror. We continue to use Russian imports and leave Ukrainian airspace unprotected. So someone replied on Twitter saying, "Stop trying to make a no-fly zone happen. It's not going to happen." I responded, "If protecting Ukraine airspace by closing it will create nuclear war, why would the Ukrainians request it, saying that it will do the opposite? Stop Russian missiles and avert the already human catastrophe happening in Ukraine. Unless we are weak and afraid of Russia or Russian threats to use nuclear, unless we are weak and afraid of Russian threats to use nuclear weapons. But Russians don't want nuclear war either. That would surely isolate Putin and suffer the wrath of the Russians, as they'd be affected by a world war where they stand alone. So your point is weak and does not consider other factors at play here." Further, I said, "We are then not united. We are therefore weak and spineless. Russia then has already won, and this sets up a dangerous precedence that any country can be invaded today without any democratic support. Remember, when the US and others didn't want to join the world war against the Nazis, until they suffered losses. But in order to stop terrorism, We must be strong and do the thing that will prevent further problems. If Putin can do this without such tactical support, then it's okay for him to continue on to Poland, etc. We are the United States. Why should one country lose the airspace? If we are united, then our unity is our strength. Is the US afraid of Russia? Is Europe afraid of Russia? Are they that weak? Then we are all vulnerable. Without any real leadership, aren't we paying the UN and the Security Council to preserve world peace? Now, concerning my position on the world not wanting to implement a no-fly zone, some agreed, arguing. Someone on Reddit joined the discussion. Some agreed, but someone on Reddit joined the discussion saying, fair enough. Russian politicians for sure do not want a nuclear holocaust. A no-fly zone over Ukraine will have to be enforced, though. That means direct conflict of whoever is enforcing the no-fly zone with Russia. I'm going to insert here, let's say the US. The Russians want a direct conflict with the US. Now, that would inevitably mean war. It is a dangerous road since it might lead to a spiral, which ends in a major war where nuclear weapons are a very, very dangerous option that Russia, Putin, might use once they realize they are losing the war. No thank you. I pass. I don't have an idea how to resolve this, but in a war between NATO and Russia, everybody loses. So this is my reply. So we don't want a major war, just a minor one that doesn't have anything to do with me or my country, unless we happen to live where it is taking place. And if your argument is right, that no one wants war between NATO and Russia, so it would mean then that no one can stop Russia from invading and bombing another country if it doesn't get what it wants. That is a dangerous precedent, and it speaks volumes as to what is the use of having NATO if they can't prevent and protect wars. In fact, another member of NATO, Russia, is actually carrying out this aggression against Ukraine, and we can only sit idly by and say, well, we don't want a world war, just one over there that doesn't affect us. But that's what Ukrainians were probably saying too. That's the Middle East and Iran's or Afghanistan's problem, or it's Pakistan and India's problem, or it's Hitler's and Europe's problem until Pearl Harbor happens. If Russia doesn't want a world war, you got to stop the minor ones before they escalate. In that, no one country must feel as though they can intimidate and invade another country without fearing a strong worldwide reaction, because the world is afraid of another world war, so they can pick a country off individually until it's too late. And we have some good news. As at yesterday, in addition to the fact that the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reports that Major General of the Russian Army, Vitaly Gerasimov, a Russian military leader and Major General and Chief of Staff and First Deputy Commander of the 41st Army of the Central Military District of Russia, has been killed near Kharkiv. A number of senior Russian army officers were also killed and wounded. Now, just so you know, Vitaly Gerasimov took part in the Second Chechen War and the Russian military operation in Syria. He received a medal for the return of Crimea. Other news coming in as at yesterday evening, wrap-up of the news that you may have missed. The Russian army has a direct instruction to shoot civilians in Ukraine. One of the Russian invaders who was shot dead by his own admits this on the YouTube video that I have posted on my blog, RenaldoCMcKenzie.blogspot.com, or you can go to my YouTube channel and type in Russian army has a direct instruction to shoot civilians in Ukraine. and you can access that on YouTube, or you can visit any of my social media feeds, and which will take you direct to the link of the video. But this is what we learned in the video, that the Russian army has a direct instruction to shoot civilians in Ukraine. The same carte blanche for the shooting is given to the Russian military, which refuses to kill women and children. One of the Russian invaders who was shot dead by his own on the first day of the war, his column was ordered to surround Kharkiv. All civilians who tried to leave were shot. But when Ukrainian security forces approached the scene and the fight broke out, 2 Russians rushed to the aid of the wounded woman. Their colleagues did not appreciate such a manifestation of humanity and opened fire on their own. A woman and an officer were killed, and the soldier on video was wounded in the legs, and he survived because he was taken away by the daughter of the murdered Ukrainian woman. Now he's an important witness to the atrocities of the invaders, which are documented by SBU investigators and will be brought to court. And we have, again, a video of the Russian soldier that was captured, that was speaking live, and it's posted on my news feeds. Thirdly, the third news that you may have missed from yesterday evening's wrap up is that the data obtained indicates significant problems with communication in the occupiers' army and with the evacuation of their broken units. Kyivstar, a newspaper on the ground in Kyiv, reports that today at 7 p.m., its specialists resumed the operation of 140 mobile base stations in Zaporizhzhia and on the outskirts of the city. That's 7 p.m. yesterday evening. They also improved communication in Kherson by including another 70 base stations. In Kharkiv, the base stations near the Metalist Stadium, which are very important for the network, have been revived. Now in Kharkiv, the situation with mobile communication and home internet has significantly improved. Some other news. Fourthly, the first volunteers of the International Legion of Territorial Defense of Ukraine are already in positions on the outskirts of Kyiv. Volunteers from the USA, Great Britain, Sweden, Lithuania, Mexico, and India. Again, we can confirm that that news coming in as at yesterday at 7 p.m. that the first volunteers of International Legion of Territorial Defense of Ukraine are already in positions on the outskirts of Kyiv. Volunteers from the USA, Great Britain, Sweden, Lithuania, Mexico, and India. And we have posted a picture of the volunteers. Fifth, Zelensky withdraws to Ukraine all Ukrainian servicemen who are currently part of peacekeeping contingents in other countries. They will join the war against Russia. Again, Zelensky withdraws to Ukraine all Ukrainian servicemen who are currently part of peacekeeping contingents in other countries. They will join the war against Russia. Sixth, we have some main points from the Daily Evening Report as at March 7 at 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. 1. Russia focused its main efforts on taking control of Mariupol and surrounding Kyiv with its subsequent capture. The enemy also wants to reach the administrative borders of Luhansk and Donetsk regions. This second main point or roundup, as at yesterday, submitted by the General Staff. Recently, Russia has regrouped its forces to storm Kyiv. To do this, the Russians plan to use the most capable units of the Ramzan Kadyrov Rosguard Special Regiment. It's called Grozny. The 27th detachment of the Kosmas Kemerovo, the 604th Vityaz Center, the 604th Vityaz Center, Moscow, of the Rosguard and the Liga Private Military Company, former PVK Wagner. And next, in the Polishia direction, the enemy concentrated in the areas of the settlements of Polishke, Kukari, Borodyanka, Beshev, Goronichi, and Demidov. And in the northern direction, Russia is trying to block Chernihiv and prepare for an attack on Sumy. On the Slobozansky direction, the enemy concentrates the main efforts on the directions of Kharkiv and Novomoskovsk, and trying to enter Izium, Kharkiv region. The enemy suffered losses and withdrew. The occupiers resorted to terror in the city. In the Donetsk direction, Russia continues its offensive in the direction of the Dnieper and Zaporozhye. Now to the offensive in the direction of the Zverozansky Russian Army moves BTGR 150th Motorized Rifle Division attempts to break through the defenses of Volnovakha and Mariupol failed. Now in the Tarivia direction, the enemy concentrated its efforts in the direction of Mykolaiv and Zaporizhzhia and Voznesensk. The enemy aimed up to 3 BTGs from the 19th Motorized Rifle Division of the 58th General Army at the Melitopol and the Mariupol. Now in the Pivanoboyankivsky operational area of the enemy stopped on approaches to Nikolaev. The moral and psychological state of the enemy is low. He is demoralized by great losses. Now, during the fighting near Kharkiv, the Chief of Staff, 1st Deputy Commander of the 41st General Army, Major General Gerasimim Vitaly was killed, and several senior members, and we have reported that, were killed and wounded. Now that's the main points, the wrap-up of the news from last night. Some of the other news we added previously, but we ended with the general news submitted by the roundup of the main points submitted by the General Staff of Ukraine. Now that's the news coming in, and we will continue to share the news with you and get to other stories and other news and other discussions when we get a chance. But the war in Ukraine is happening, and we have been very suspicious with the slogan, "The world is united," but we are getting responses. And if you join my discussions on Reddit and other links, people are responding. Not only are they demonstrating, but they are sharing links to feeds where you can find information about companies that continue to do business with Russia and how you can pressure these companies to cut ties with Russia. You can join. You can visit my link. You can visit my blog at RonaldoCMcKenzie.blogspot.com, or you can find links at my Twitter, Ronaldo McKenzie, or at Facebook, Ronaldo.McKenzie, or LinkedIn, Reverend Ronaldo C. McKenzie. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day, and continue to follow the news and continue to support and stand with Ukraine against Russia. Take care and send us feedback about how we can continue to improve, and information that's coming in, continue to share with us. RonaldoCMcKenzie@gmail.com. Take care and walk good.